Tucker Davis.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Where are you calling in from today?
I am calling from beautiful Southwest Virginia.
Whereabouts?
Beautiful.
Roanoke County.
Roanoke County.
Roanoke County.
Know it well.
Yeah.
Some good hot dogs down there.
Oh, you bet.
So we were talking about the rejecting and divisive tone of the campaign that Governor Wilder has, you said in your organization, hammered. Terry, your organization is called VirginiaRisingAction.org. This is Tucker Davis. Governor Wilder, Democrat, hammering McAuliffe, Democrat, for rejecting and divisive language. What's going on there?
Well, I mean, look, political differences aside, I've always had a great deal of respect for Governor Wilder and his political career and all that he's accomplished and here in the Commonwealth. And when he speaks out within his own party, I mean, I think that's worth mentioning. I think it's worth elevating that voice because this is a guy who's been told in his past, "Oh, wait your turn. Your time will come." And Governor Wilder was a guy who didn't wait his turn. He jumped right in and didn't take no for an answer. And I think when he sees a lot of young African American legislators and political leaders in Virginia run for the Democrat nomination, only to be slighted by their fellow legislators and the Democrat political establishment, I think that deserves to be talked about.
Well, it's an interesting news story, and thanks for putting it up on Facebook. I never would have seen it otherwise. I may have seen it a little bit later, but the interesting thing here, I think, Tucker, is that the establishment you speak of is another African American woman legislator who serves with Jennifer McClellan and Jennifer Carroll Foy, and that's what we're talking about here. So it's really weird to describe it in the sense that is it racially motivated or just establishment has it gotten to that the elevation of which we're having this conversation about it not being racial? I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out.
And I think that I think it maybe has just more to do with the political machine. Okay. More so than
race.
Yeah. I in this case I do, mainly because of who Louise Lucas is. I don't think she's going at the other candidates, as they would say.
No, it might be an age thing.
It could be an age thing.
Louise Lucas, an older woman.
And it could be she just feels McAuliffe is better for the job. It could just be that.
Which you can say, but she didn't say that. She said at the appropriate time, which some have taken to read into like, wait your turn.
I got you.
Which for black women is not good, but it came from a black woman.
Yeah,
so
I got you.
Go ahead, Tucker.
Well, and I think, in another post earlier in the month, Governor Wilder actually touched on this a little bit. I think he saw this coming because in another post, he actually said that next year's elections in the Democrat primary will be laced with racial overtones not witnessed in recent times. And so I think he probably expected McAuliffe to get in, and he probably expected McAuliffe to spend a lot of money. He obviously, when Governor Northam and Attorney General Herring were dealing with their blackface issues, Terry McAuliffe was crisscrossing the state. He was kind of the de facto leader for the Democrats. And I think, and again, politics aside, I think when you look at the field of candidates on the Democrat side, I mean, you have one of the first female cadets to graduate from VMI. I think Delegate Carol Foy was in the third class at VMI, female class. I mean, you have some accomplished legislators running, and I think Governor Wilder was just kind of shocked that they're willing to bring Governor McAuliffe back in as a political retread to come in and wave the party's banner when I think Governor Wilder feels, pretty proud of some of his, fellow African American Democrats' accomplishments. And I think he's probably felt slighted.
This is a fascinating element to this nomination fight. You have Terry McAuliffe, who relatively successful governor of the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's tough to say that he did, a big thing wrong. I mean, you have McDonnell on one end and Northam on the other. They had their little moments in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
McAuliffe seemed to avoid all that. So if he comes back and says, I didn't screw up. I mean, I think in the baseline, even Republicans would say he didn't screw up. You can find some reason not to vote again, not vote for him. And I'm sure Kirk Cox and the rest of the Republicans will draw that A/B test should he win the nomination. But this is coming from within the Democratic Party saying, basically, you've already had your turn, and you have 3 African Americans running against you. You should basically get out of the way.
So is that what Wilder's saying, basically?
That's what I'm gleaning from this, Tucker.
I haven't heard what you're telling us, Tucker, and what I got from you today, Sachs. I hadn't heard any of this.
Same.
It's shocking that members of the Virginia Press Corps won't cover this. Look, I'm an African American myself. You probably can't tell from my Southwest Virginia twang, but if someone told me to wait my turn in the Republican Party, I would take offense to that, and I think that's a pretty strong statement that a legislative leader could make.
Well, I think most young, ambitious politicos, folks, whether take it in the office setting, in your in athletic tryouts, wait your turn, wait till next year.
Nobody's trying to hear that.
No one's trying to hear that, right? No one wants to hear that.
Nobody.
I mean, sometimes you kind of go. I mean, I did it with Jeff Fredericks. Jeff Frederick. He was running for state party chairman against John Hager, who, God rest his great soul. And he comes to my office. He was a delegate then. And he goes, "Hey, I'm going to run for state chairman. I hope you'll get your support." I said, Jeff, you're 33. You're young. You're ambitious. I think you need to wait your turn. It'll be there. There's no rush on this thing. Worst thing happens, you run in 4 years, you're uncontested because you got out of the way for John Hager, who was a great man. He ran anyway, and he won.
There you go.
Didn't take my advice.
There you go.
He cavitated the party afterwards.
well, there is that.
There's that little tick up.
There is that.
But there's nothing wrong with ambition in a marketplace, and clearly it's showing itself in the Democratic Party because here's what Republicans would probably never run against a successful or seen as successful within their own party. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
If a relatively successul Republican governor said, "Hey, I'm going to run again," people would go, "Yeah, let's just get out of the way." Mm. That's just how conservatives think.
Okay.
There might be one whatever anti-establishment person who wants to run and get crazy with it, but by and large they go, "Yeah, you're right. They're conservative traditional people." Mm-hmm. Democrats, on the other hand, God bless them, don't believe that. They don't believe in waiting their turns, right? And I think that's one of the unique and interesting things about their political party. So this is like the generational clash in the Democratic Party.
Is it though? Because wouldn't Wilder and I guess no, they wouldn't really be the same generation.
No, Wilder's probably the next generation up from Louise.
That's what I was just thinking.
Terry,
yeah.
But he was also the one that broke the racial barrier in Virginia and frankly nationally.
Nationally, right.
Tucker?
Yeah, absolutely. Governor Wilder founded the first black legislative caucus in Virginia. It was one of the founders. And I know Governor Wilder has been very vocal in the fact that the Library of Virginia won't carry his or won't display his working documents and make those publicly available. And you would just think, and I think that's a frustration with the Richmond establishment that he has. He's broken so many barriers over the years,
mm-hmm.
and the fact that they won't even allow his working documents to be displayed. I mean, that to me should be a top priority. Every other governor's working documents, I believe, are publicly available, and for some odd reason, his are not. And I know that's been an effort that he's put forward for a couple of years now. And I think Governor Northam said that it was a travesty and he's working on it, but I don't think that's occurred yet. So I just think that this is just another example of the frustration that he sees within the party of that old school Virginia way of thinking that still is creeping through in the political establishment in Richmond. And he's retired. He's at VCU, and if I had the pulpit that Doug Wilder had, I would do the same thing. So more power to him. God bless him.
Well, the one thing about Doug Wilder, we've always known, he's not afraid to take a position.
That's for sure. And let you know what it is.
And he will let you know what it is.
And fight for it. He does all of
I have to
that.
tell you the story about when we had him come speak to the House Republican caucus after the tax increase in 2004.
The House Republican caucus?
Oh yeah, this was it was one of my better moments.
No doubt.
Politically, he showed up.
Tune in tomorrow.
How often do you have an African American former Democratic governor
This is what I'm saying.
come and say about Mark Warner's tax increase in 2004? Well, I never raised taxes to the House Republicans. We start chanting 4 more years, 4 more years. I'll tell you the whole story tomorrow.
Man,
Tucker, thanks for calling
Thanks
in.
for the call, Tucker.
Bless
Thanks
you
for
down in
listening.
Rona. Get one of those great hot dogs. Tell us how it goes. We need to know.
Will do.
We need to know. Thanks, Tucker.